Yeah, hello, I'm Dave Sladack. I'm a longtime marketing professional. I've worked in the agency world for just about all of my career. I'm currently the president of BLD Marketing, and we're a full service ad agency out of Pittsburgh, PA. We focus on we're a specialist agency focusing in the building and construction industry. And we have 26 people in our agency, and we continue to grow. At West Virginia University, I have begun teaching about a year ago there. And I teach the Audience Insights class as part of the graduate program. Yeah, that's a really good question. And I was thinking about that, and I've actually touched now 4 decades in my adjunct professor teaching career. And I wonder, like, what is that commonality? What brings me back? I've taught at 3 different universities. And I think one of the primary reasons is the connection that it just gives me to the class, to the students, and just looking at like principles that are there and how they're applied differently as things change. And there's a lot of different ways I could look at that and study it through technology and so forth, and my clients who are changing. But the students are a wonderful source for that type of continued learning. And so what I really enjoy about teaching overall with students is, our classes are set up so that we're bringing real world examples into the classroom based upon the principles that the course requires. For example, with Audience Insights, it's about learning about the customer's decision-making process when they buy goods and services. So you take a look at their attitudes and their perceptions of things and how they make choices. It's really, really cool over those 4 decades that I've been teaching to see how consumers, students in this case, really go about making those decisions, how they are applying that in their own worlds as they learn about marketing. And the other thing about that is, what really changes a lot over the time period that I'm doing those sorts of activities are the brands, right? And so it's really cool. Back in the day when I first started out, you had some very traditional brands. Those brands change a lot. And I'll give you an example. More recently, the last class I taught at West Virginia, there were brands I never heard of that these younger students are really, really engaged with. And they're engaged with them in a lot of different ways with like influencer strategies and social media. And to me, that is stimulating. I love learning about the new brands and how these students are applying marketing principles to them. And I think they're learning from it, and I'm learning from it too. And it's very rewarding. We're very fortunate being in the business world that, what we learn in class needs to be applied to the real world, okay? Because what we teach are a lot of principles, and it's necessary to apply that to actual things that are happening in the marketplace. Everything from, how a campaign's set up to how it's measured to, how people as consumers or customers go about making decisions. And the theory is only one part of it. Understanding how that really is applied with actual examples becomes a very, very powerful experience. And so I think it's critical to apply real world wherever we can, whenever we can. So one of the ways we do it with the Audience Insight class is, the students are required on a regular basis to bring brand examples into the classroom. So part of it's on them. They have to bring the latest examples that they want to analyze. And usually it's a brand of interest. So it makes it easier for them to, understand the brand, have an experience with it, and then be able to analyze it. So that's one piece of it. And I think that is really, really beneficial. The second piece is I've been doing this for a long time, and I've worked on a lot of brands. I've been fortunate to work on some global brands, local brands, everything from Ford Motor Company to 84 Lumber in the Super Bowl with the agency I was at the time, to smaller regional brands that have been around. So I can bring a wealth of experience and apply the principles to it and share. When a student comes in and analyzes a brand on on something new like a hair dryer from Canada, and that is a real world example, by the way. I never heard of it. It was called Lafen. I never heard of the brand, but I learned about it. But I was able to apply some principles from experiences that I had from doing some prior brand work. And the cool thing about that is some of the principles stay the same. It's just in how it's really interpreted, how it's utilized. That's what changes. And often in our world with marketing, it's really about technology driving a lot of the marketing today too. But look, it's a little harder actually to do, some of the real world experience in an online course because, there are certain requirements that we have to adhere to. But there's freedom as well, and that freedom comes from the students bringing in those real world examples, and then me as a professor being able to say, okay, look, that's great. I like the way you looked at this, but think about this. When I worked on Aquafresh toothpaste, here's how we did it, and here's how we analyze things. So I think that combination is really really effective, and I think the students get a very rich learning experience as a result. Yeah, so my passion was to get into marketing from day one, although my dad was a CPA and he said, well, son, if you go to business school, you better go into accounting or finance. So I tried that for about a year and a half. I appreciated the data and the numbers experience I got there, but then I switched. I took one marketing class and knew that was my passion, my love. Got out of college. Frankly, it was during a recession, had to take the first job I could find, did that, but I applied some learnings to it, right? And it was this whole numbers crunching piece. And that opened the door for me to break into the ad world as a media planner buyer, a young media planner buyer. And, the cool thing about that is I brought spreadsheets and that ability to use spreadsheets to that job for that specific agency. So, that was like kind of the sprouting of my career. And then I ended up getting into account management shortly after that. And I knew that's exactly where I wanted to be because I like to be the quarterback of the whole account and understand the whole process, not just one piece. But I have to tell you, it's kind of, in some ways it's gone full circle because I came into with a very, very strong data background. And where's marketing now? It's kind of done that full circle, and there's a lot of requirement for data, and that's a big part of what we do today as a successful marketer.